Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse, and welcome to another episode of Magic the Gathering. We're going to be doing another Shadows over Innistrad Remastered draft. So, the last one was good fun. We got to do our vampires list. We'd like to try and do something differently this time, but as you can see, we did well enough that we've nearly got 2 full drafts available, so I might do a couple of these here and there. But for now, I really do just want to jump straight into it. I've played this format in paper years ago when it first came out. I had a great fun time with it. You know, this is obviously the 2 sets pushed together. I imagine it is. I've not really looked into it, but it feels like it is. And so hopefully, you know, this carries on translating across. I'd like to try something different than vampires if we could, but you've got to play what's open. If you enjoy this, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons. Join us on the Patreon down below, or feel free to just drop a comment in. I'd love to hear from you, especially in terms of things that you're wanting to see on the channel. Jump-in tokens. I don't know what that is, but anyway, let's jump into the draft and see what we can find. Hopefully it won't take too long for the queue to pop. The last time was actually very quick, and we didn't need to take a break at any point during the either session of recording, one for the draft and one for the gameplay. So I'm going to try and just sort of keep going for a little bit longer and see if that's something we can do. One thing I did always enjoy there we go. One thing I did always enjoy is looking at the names and seeing if I recognise anyone, but I'm probably not at the level anymore where you can start recognising, the big names in Magic the Gathering, and I probably wouldn't know what a lot of them are anyway. So let's see what we can get. Come on, be a big bomb mythic. That's all I want. Okay, Avacyn's Judgment. Do I even remember that? 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. If its madness cost, it deals X damage you choose among those permanents instead. That's pretty good. Ruthless Disposal, discard, oh yeah, that. Uncaged Fury. I mean, I still think Neonate's fantastic. Here's the thing, so there's a lot of good red cards here, and we've already got that, but we've already done the red deck in that form. But maybe we take Avacyn's Judgment in and look at maybe going into the red-blue, because there's not much blue here, so we could wheel something. I think I'm going to take it anyway, just because I think it's a very powerful card, potentially. It's either like a sorcery speed shock, or potentially just a big burn spell, I guess. It's not fantastic, but it'll do. So Blessed Alliance very strong, but Incendiary Flow is fantastic. 3 damage and exile it at sorcery speed is great. Again, we want to avoid vampires if possible, but we're not going to just ignore 2 great red removal spells in a row. Altered Ego. This was always fun, but I don't think it's going to be the right choice here. What I'm actually looking at here is, so there's a couple of cards that really jump out at me. I know I sort of rushed through this fairly quickly. Overmorph Captive was always good. It's a 2 mana utility creature, just gives you mana ramp. It's really good in the Werewolves deck. And also Deadweight is just really efficient. But whether we want to go with Deadweight again is kind of, I'm umming and ahhing on that front. But I do think it is just slightly better than Overmorph Captive. So again, wanting to avoid vampires, but this is the pick to go for. I would be picking this in a normal, just sort of generic pick, but this is very much a 2-colour deviation from 2 great cards we've got already. So I think it makes most sense to just take the Deadweight because it's efficient, and even if we switch colours, black is a good option. I mean, here it's just looking like we actually just have a really good list. We've got the Fury Blade Vampire, which I actually still think is worse than Olivia's Dragoon, so I guess it looks like we are heading towards vampires again, but I mean, I'm not against it. It's a really, really strong list. We do need to get more Madness cards out of it, but I think this is one of the best cards here. The other options, Dauntless Cathar was always good, Fury Blade Vampire is good, but given that you can discard it any time with Olivia's Dragoon, it's already better with Avacyn's Judgment. And black pairs slightly better into things like Delirium, which Deadweight pushes for as well, so even if we don't end up red, the black cards I think work well together. And green-black Deliriums is it Delirium? It's called Delirium, isn't it? But yeah, green-black is like a really good colour combination as well. Get that like extra value. Is it Crawling Sensation, where you just start putting things in your graveyard? Tree of Perdition is such a meme. It is absolutely a meme. Piece of the Puddle. Puddle? Piece of the Puddle. Also, for some reason, looking at this up close, it reminds me almost of Harrison Ford. Anyway, reveal the top 5 cards, 2 instant sorceries, one of them from your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You can self-mill with the Brute. I think there's Lab Maniac in this set, so you can go for that, but I actually think Pieces of the Puzzle is probably the best card here, apart from maybe Weirding Wood, but I don't remember green being the best. Rush of Adrenaline's fine. None of the black cards are stand out, really. I mean, we could just go for the tree, but let's go pieces of the puzzle. There's a world in which we want the blue-red spells deck, and that would be really good in it. Okay, so Make Mischief is actually better than it seems. It's 1 damage, and you get a devil. I mean, it's not much, but it adds up more than you might think it would. Game Trail could be decent. It's funny that this is uncommon now, because this was a rare in the set originally. This one I don't think is a great pack. I'm honestly tempted just to take the Game Trail, because if we end up red-green it would be nice. The sensor's not great what we got. I don't think this pack is good at all. It's either this or Hinterland Logger to me, and don't think either are great. Maybe Make Mischief. Okay, what have we got here? Obsessive Skin is the Delirium one, isn't it? It's put a 1/1 counter on target creature. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, there are 4 more card tapes and cards in your graveyard. Put a counter on target creature. So it's a 2/2 that can get better. I think the green is showing up a little bit here. The second colour is a bit umming. Let's try Obsessive Skinner. We could be going on... Ooh, Vessel of Nascency was always interesting, but so was Take Inventory if you can get a few of these. But we've only got 1 blue spell so far. Faithless Looting works. This is a very weird start to the draft. So this is put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land or planeswalker. And put the rest into the graveyard, but it really helps with Delirium. I think if we're looking for Delirium, this is interesting. What was this one again? Oh yeah, you can make a scythe. I think the Vessel might be where we go, and look to go for like a green list. So Moonlight Hunt is target creature you don't control. Each creature that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage to equal its power to that creature. It's not fantastic. But we've got some red cards, we've got some green cards. Uncaged Fury is probably easier, but we've really been low on red here a little bit. But again, I actually just think it's probably the better card. I'm going to take it. I don't think it's probably better than any of the others here. I think we're in a very weird spot. But we might as well try. Okay, so Thraven Foulbloods is basically a 3-mana 4/3 menace sometimes. Rise from the Grave is the only other option. It doesn't really matter because we don't have that much to do with bringing stuff back from the graveyard. I think the Foulbloods is the best option here, but I don't like any of this. This feels like a bit of a train wreck. Okay, Byway Courier is fantastic. 3-mana 3/2 when it dies, investigate. Feeling of Dread's medium. Strength of Arms was okay in the right deck. I think Byway Courier is the pick here. Getting a Foul Orchard could be nice here. I don't think either of these are particularly necessary, but we could take an Arsonists and just try and go for full-on vampires, werewolves, but I think the green-black land is probably better for us here. Epitaph Golem is fine. It's not good. Don't want to play it, but it's okay. 2/3 Flash Reach is nice, but not for 4. Provisioner just allows a bit of beatdown. Is it? Gives a human +1, and then Rush. Sure. Go on, Big Bob. Tireless Tracker. There we go. Tireless Tracker makes me very happy. This is just one of the most unbeatable cards in the set if your opponent can't answer it. So I'm not even going to look at the rest of the pack. So if you don't know, Tireless Tracker, where's it? There we go. I was going to say it hasn't shown up. Whenever you play a land, the Tireless Tracker makes a clue token, and whenever you sacrifice a clue, it gets +1/+1 permanently. So that's pretty ridiculous. So here we've got things like Galvanic Bombardment's a good spell. Dusk Feast is good if you can trigger Delirium. Hamweir Garrison's also really good. We've got a couple of red things. So given that we've only got 3 things in black, it looks like we might be working our way towards a green-red deck. Now I want the Galvanic Bombardment, I'll be honest, but I'm just going to take Hamweir Garrison because it's fun. So we might need to start looking at going things like werewolves. So here we've got Bloodbriar, which is... So we've got Noose Constrictor is what I'm going to pick, just to clarify. It's really, really good. There's some Madness cards that work well with it, if we can get them. I think we've got Avacyn's Judgment. It's just a powerful card. However, Bloodbriar we'd love to wheel, because it's so good with Tireless Tracker. And Noose Constrictor, it works well in just anything, but red... Oh my god, Relentless Dead as well. So this is... I remember this seeing play in the meta deck, but I don't quite remember what it was. 2/2 menace for 2 black. You may pay black, return to its owner's hand when it dies. When it dies, you can pay X, return a zombie with a mana X from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's not going to be something we use. We haven't really got many wolves and werewolves yet, and because we might still end up going black, I'm actually going to take the Bloodbriar, because when you sacrifice a permanent, put a counter on it, and see if we can make use out of that. We still might not be going for red, but I think we probably are. So this is just a vampire. This is a double red wolf with Delirium double strike, which I think was a rare in the original set as well. Given that we might be going wolves, and the only other thing is Wolfkin Bond, which is a 5-drop, certain death's very expensive. I'm going to take the Scourge Wolf. So we're obviously cutting pieces of the puzzle here. Oh, no. Pieces of the puzzle can go. I'm looking at maybe going red-green. Still want to keep the option. So Transform Kindly Strangers, that's the Delirium one. That's really good as well. So maybe we're just going Jund. I don't know where we're ending up here. We know we want some of these 3 colours. Deadweight is nearly too good to miss for Deadweight number 2. Even probably better than Olivia's Dragoon. So now I'm still torn. Okay, draw 2, discard 2 is nice, but I think certain death's very expensive, but it is just a removal spell. Conduit of Storms can just be a big thing sometimes. I don't know what I want to pick. I'm going to reserve that for now. I think it's, yeah, that's what we're just going to wait for that to go. Take that. Skeleton can be nice. Grapple is always reasonable. Weirding Wood, I mean, Weirding Wood fixes our mana and investigates. It might just have to be that at this point. The Arsonist is fine, but let's just take mana fixing, maybe with 3 colour. Dusk Feaster came back. That's something I wanted. So Dusk Feaster, because we are probably going to get Delirium quite easily, especially if we get something like Evolving Wilds or something like that. That can be a much cheaper unit because it loses 2 cost, doesn't it? Yeah, so it becomes a 5 cost 4/5 flyer. Graph Rats will take because it's on colour, and Graph Rats is good. Magnifying Glass is too slow. Graph Rats is a 2/1, but sometimes can be bigger. Now, do we have any wolves or werewolves? 1 wolf or werewolf. I'm going to take... Actually... I'm going to take it. We probably don't play it. This is a wolf, but it's not one we want, so we'll take more fixing. This is a weird one, because Scourge Wolf is going to be almost impossible to play in here. I don't really know where we sit with this. We've got decent fixing at least. Unhallowed or Borrowed Hostility. I think we probably want the Hostility over that. How are we doing for creatures? 50. We're not doing too bad. This isn't... I'd love to be able to trim this down to 2 colours, but I don't know if we're going to be able to. Oh, Deck in Stone. One of the best rares in the entire set. It's just as close as you can get to Swords to Plowshares, which is a huge shame because I don't think we can take it. This was worth so much money when it first came out. I think we're probably looking at Overmore Captive as just a mana ramp. Potentially a little bit more than that. There's nothing really here I want. Veteran Cathar is good in the Humans deck, as is Thraven Inspector, but I think this is what we want. We don't care so much for Blood Mad Vampires in this. Oh my god, Ishkana Graph Widow. Yes! This was another massive bomb. 5 mana 3/5. When it enters the battlefield, if there are 4 or more card types in your graveyard, create 3 1/2 spiders with reach, and then for 7 mana you just drain people. There is no world in which I'm not taking this. It's one of my favourite cards in the set, so this means we are definitely playing green and black. Ooh, hang on, we've got Midnight Scavengers. We can make the Chittering Host. Oh, but Morn Willow. Morn Willow's just a really aggressive play, and it might come back. We'd rather just have the Byway Courier, to be honest, but can I pass up on the memes? I don't think I can pass the memes. Plus, we've actually got units that are good to get back, because it brings back 3 drops, right? Yeah, so we can bring back things like Tireless Tracker. And doesn't it meld at the beginning of combat? Oh, it doesn't say on there. Ooh, Traverse is good, but so's Spider Spawning. So Traverse is really efficient and just a good card in general, but Spider Spawning for each creature in our graveyard. We might get there. Looks like maybe we can reduce some of the red down eventually. So how many creatures have we got? 18. We don't have much self-mill though. But it could be that this, I mean, this works great with Ishkana as well, so yeah, more self-mill is what we're going to look for here. So things like Crow or Bloodbriar here. Or Terrarian. Terrarian's not bad, sacrificing it. Have we got 1 Bloodbriar so far? Yeah, I'd really like another one, but given that we've now got Spider Spawning, we're going to take the Crow because we just need to fuel our graveyard. and we're going to look at removing some of this red. So in this one, Terrarium works. It just puts another card in our graveyard. We don't care much about the rest of this. And see what we can cut from here. So a second Graph Rats isn't ideal. We don't really need Moonlight Hunt. Turns out that's not going to be useful. Swift Spinner could be nice. It's that or Graph Rats, basically. And Graph Rats is just a 2-1. And we're going to be... We'll probably keep Absence Judgment and maybe Incendiary Flow. I think we take that anyway, just as an option. Another Crow's great here. We just want more things to fuel our graveyard. So we can take out Borrowed Hostility, take out Rush of Adrenaline. A third Crow might actually just be the right pick as well. Okay, what do we got here? Olivia's Dragoon is medium. Braided Jar was such a cool deck, but not one we're going to need. I will, however, take it in case I decide to build one on here at some point. We've got the Morn Willow back, so it's just a value 3-2, potentially haste. Oh, so 3-2 haste potentially makes other things not block. But I think it's worth it. It's just a good creature. Merciless Resolve can be nice here because sometimes we want things in our graveyard, especially lands, and we haven't really got that many ways of putting lands in. Scourge Wolf is out of this list, without a doubt. Uncaged Fury is not worth it. Handweighed Garrison's probably worth it, but that's definitely not. We've got a Bloodbriar back. That was what we wanted. Don't care about that. And Swift Spinner came back. Okay, so we made it into green-black eventually. The Tireless Tracker and Ishkanar Graph Widow, or Ishkana Graph Widow, were definitely the pickups there that turned that around for me. So let's see how we want to build this. So Terrarium, I believe, yeah, it does draw a card, but it's not quite there for what we need. So we've got a bunch of cards to cut. Handweighed Garrison's one of the first ones. It's just not that relevant. I didn't realise you had 2 Merciless Resolve, so one of those can go. Epitaph Golem is medium at best, and we want things in the graveyard for spider spawning. These are the 2 spells I'd consider keeping for this, so we'll pop that there for now. Dragoon is medium, but it's just fine. Kindly Stranger's good. This is good. So it might actually be Morn Willow that's not ideal here. I mean, Swift Spinner's pretty medium. Intrepid Provisioner. Do we have many humans, actually? I don't think we've got that many. 6? So are there any of them 2? So there isn't. That's a vampire. Obviously not these. 1 human there. Kindly Stranger is human for... Yeah, human there. By the way, no. Courier is. Tireless Tracker is. Is it Midnight Scavengers? Yeah, human one there. I don't think this has enough targets to make it worthwhile. It's just a 4-mana 3/3, so we're going to cut that. Now, what creature count are we on? 19, so we can afford to lose some creatures. But I think with Ishkana and Spider Spawning, I wish we actually had a way of returning something to our hand from the graveyard, because we didn't pick up any of those. Well, we saw some, but we didn't pick any up thinking we weren't going to need it. I don't think, because we weren't on that game plan at that point in time, so... This could be pretty awkward because we might just lose our Ishkana or something like that. But I suppose Midnight Scavengers put something back. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Dusk Feaster should be reasonable. Like, we need our win cons, and these are our win cons basically. And Tireless Tracker technically. Morn Willow is good, but I don't know if a 3/2 haste is really what this deck cares about. I think maybe we do just cut the red spells, seeing as we've got double Deadweight and the Kindly Stranger. We're not doing too bad on removal. It's not great, but this is also just an activate if you have Delirium. You don't need to have sorry, it can be Summoning Stick and still do this. So Incendiary Flow at least goes. Absence Judgment could be worth it. How many discard outlets have we got now? We've got Olivia's Dragoon, Noose Constrictor. Not many, actually. So yeah, I think Absence Judgment goes as well. In that case, we take out the Game Trail. We're down to 3, and looking at this, it's obviously 3 drops. I do think that Morn Willow is probably not as good. It's nice to have a on-colour gold card, but I don't think it's what we want. I think all of these seem reasonable, but it's probably where we cut anyway. We've got 2, 3, 4, 6 2-drops that are actually good. The Vessel's good, the Terrarian's sort of like halfway between a land and not a land, so we could consider doing something there, but I think we just need to take 3 drops. I think Foulbloods is... In fact, Weirding Wood's probably not as good now, because we don't need that much ramp. Like, we've got enough 3 drops to fill that spot in the curve, and we've got a Captive to jump ahead one anyway. And like, we don't have loads of big stuff, we've just got a few important ones. And I think it may just be the Foulbloods. It's a 4-3 for 3 sometimes, but I think the Bloodbriars can get bigger. Yeah, I think this is our deck. So we're missing 4 drops. We haven't got any whatsoever, but we've got a really sweet green-black self-mill deck, and Ishkana is ridiculous. Tyler's Tracker is ridiculous. So this could be really, really fun, especially if we can just fill our graveyard up and just win on that ground. So I'm going to start some games with that, hopefully have a bit of fun with it, and I'll see you there. Okay, we are back with the list and we are about to start our games and see how we go. Basically on this one, my aim is to just to get, 2 wins? 2 wins would be great, because then we can just get another draft in if we need to. But ideally we want to get 1,400 gems every time. If we can do it, just keeps it going for as long as possible, or better. So we've already just had a look at the list. It's been a few minutes since I last recorded, so I've pretty much remember all of it. It seems like sometimes it could be a bit of a jump. Sometimes I can't record something on the same day I do the follow-up part of the video, but today I should be able to. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a game fairly quickly. I really, really want to just resolve Tyler's Tracker. Now, one thing people won't realise, Tyler's Tracker turn 4 is ideal, because you play it, then play a land, and you get the guaranteed land drop. Or, if we get our Uvenwald Captive, the little 2-drop mana dork, we can play it on turn 3, follow it up with a land, maybe even a deadweight, and we can be very, very fortunate there. This hand looks great. We're probably going to play Byway Courier first into Bloodbriar. Okay, yeah, it's a bit slow, so if this is like the red-white humans deck, I'm going to save deadweight for the 2-drop, just in case there's something more relevant. If they... Yeah, so there's very likely going to be more things that we can deal with the deadweight that'll be more important than that. So this is one of them. If they put it on itself... Okay. So they're just starting the beat down, but we can trade with that. Funnily enough, they're not going to get to anything yet, so we've actually got time. Time is a luxury here, so we're going to play this and just put the counter on itself. And this way we can't block the Inspector, but we've got other ways of gaining life. We've got a little sneaky plan here. So they're going to attack with this, but we can probably deal with the Skinner eventually. What we might even want to do is just play Byway Courier, trade with the Thraben Inspector, and then go into something like Bloodbriar and play Deadweight. Oh, okay, they've got the mysteries. Nice. So we're just going to take our time here. No rush whatsoever. We can attack. There's no reason not to. We're not going to block, so we might as well get 2 damage in. And we've got a lot more resources than they do by the looks of things. Obviously, this is going to create value overall. For instance, their Thraben Inspector is actually going to get them 2 clues. 1 for coming in and 1 now. But if we're fast enough, they might not even be able to work their way through it. Okay, pumping up. If they pump up the Skinner, that's fine. We'll just trade with that. Because they're going to be pushing towards getting Delirium anyway. Or do we? Do we trade with that? Is this once per turn? It's just whenever you sacrifice a clue. So we're going to have trouble dealing with this. So I think we're going to no-block this because we can deadweight it the following turn. There's the Captive a little bit too late. We're just going to Bloodbriar here. Pop deadweight down on the Skinner just to get it out the way. And we'll go with no attacks here. We want to be trading. We've only got the 1 card in the graveyard, so we do need to start trading. Byway Courier will be a good way of doing that. And the good news as well, we can also play Captive and crack our clue if we need to. And that just basically means that, even if we don't draw a land here and can't play Ishkana, we can work our way towards it a bit quicker. Ideally, drawing a land would be great because we could play Crow and the Captive. Yeah, so this is fine. We are absolutely willing to trade this. We want the clue. I don't even mind if they do anything else. Yeah. They're going to have loads of clues, and we are going to struggle with that initially, but we've got plenty of follow-up here. Okay, so getting the clue is interesting. I think we still activate the clue here. Because if we draw a land... There you go, this makes Bloodbriar a bit more difficult. We didn't draw a land, so we'll just play the captive. And we still only got 2 card types in the graveyard. So we can just pass the turn here. We don't need to attack with the Bloodbriar because we're on the defensive here. They're going to start making humans or... Okay, Pack Guardian, sure. They did have the land. I remember that card being an absolute menace. Funnily enough here, I don't know what we do when they attack with the Pack Guardian. Do we block or not? I think maybe we do because Ishkana's just going to be a big enough force eventually. So I think we're actually good enough blocking this and just trying to deal with things slightly slower. It's not efficient because they're going to get a load of value out of this eventually, but this is how we're going to get there. We need to find other ways of getting damage out. The good news is next time we can play Noose Constrictor and the Crow, which should potentially set us up for Ishkana if we can find something else to put into the graveyard. We don't have that many instants and sorceries and things, so we need to find like a land, an artifact, yeah, something to go in there. Yeah, they're not running out of clues. So what does this take to transform? 7. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're not quite there yet. So we'll play the Crow. We want to mill ourselves. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got lands, we're getting closer. And I guess we just play Noose Constrictor. We'll go with no attacks here. Is this at the start of each opponent's upkeep? Weird. But yes. So we've got okay blocks but not good blocks. We can ditch like Graph Rats to block with the Noose Constrictor, but they're just going to go really wide here. So we need to really get Ishkana active somehow. I'm trying to think what instants of sorceries we even put in this. Maybe we've made a mistake in that front. Because I can't remember that many. I remember a couple of other enchantments, but we've already got an enchantment in, so we need an instant or sorcery to get in the graveyard or an artifact. Okay, so they're just going with the lot, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to block 2 things in case they have a mass pump spell. We don't want to give them too much efficiency. This could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this could be 11 damage if they have like a +2/+1. So I am going to block here just to make sure. To be honest, at that point, we might as well just block like this. Yeah, because there's no point in doing anything else. If they've got +2/+1, we at least take out some of their things. Because we can ditch the Graph Rats to this, and it will leave them with that wolf, unfortunately, and this human soldier. So they'll leave with 3 things, but we'll take out a couple. But this stops us dying. You know, an Ishkana coming down next turn if we can get something else in the graveyard somehow. I'm not really sure. We should have taken something like Traverse the Uvenwald. That would have been great. Okay, so they only had 1. So they can only push through 1. Oh, that's really good for us if that's the case. We just took out 3 of their creatures and only lost 2? Yeah? Come on, give us something. Just a couple of lands. They get to investigate, yeah. Okay, what's next? They're just gonna have to start cracking clues soon. I don't know how we churn through that without Ishkana, but if we get Ishkana active, we're in a great spot. I'm just genuinely worried that we might never do so. We're just going to pass here and do nothing. In fact, no point in attacking. End the turn. We're just going to activate the captive here and just make it bigger. See if they know the tricks. They're going to make a couple of humans. The good news is this is non-token, so we can at least start churning away at some of their things. We can still ditch the Graph Rats as well if we need to, which is nice. Because, and the thing is, we know we've got cards in here that win this in the long run. We can generate even more clues than they can. Come on, OP. What have you got? maybe they mill themselves. You know, we could be optimistic. I actually think we're in the losing position here just based on life totals and value. They've drawn a lot of their value, and I can't remember if we've even got ways of getting our Ishkana active. But our plan here is going to be block a human with a Noose Constrictor, the captive on the Thraben Inspector. They've got enough clues, so at this point we just keep churning out as much as we can. The awkward thing here is... okay, so they don't quite have Delirium yet, which is good for us. Yeah, they go to attackers. Okay, so they know how this works, that's always good. They can't use Gideon's Reproach because we weren't blocking. Okay, so here it's a Bloodbriar and Graffrat situation. With that not having Death Touch yet, they can't discard anything. But I don't know if this is still worth it yet. I think we still just want to end the turn here and just take it slow. We have bigger things, but they have more things, and we're very close to just being dead. So, because they're going to have... yeah, there we go. They've got 2 more humans here that can attack. And 1 more. Like, I think the sheer card advantage they've got from this is very unlikely that we end up winning, but it doesn't hurt to try. Because we just need to get Ishkana out, but without Delirium, Ishkana doesn't do anything. Like, I mean, it does. It's a big blocker, but if we don't draw something in the next turn or 2, I think we just have to play it and start activating it for 1 drain. But it doesn't gain us life. The whole point is we need more blockers here, and this puts out more blockers than they can deal with. Okay, they reveal a human. How many creatures in our graveyard? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4, so even spider spawning is not huge here. It would be good though, don't get me wrong. Spider spawning and Ishkana is a fantastic combo. They've got Odric. Oh my goodness, and this gets Death Touch. So if they can play Odric out, everything in their army is going to have Death Touch. That's so good for them. So bad for us. We're going to have to just... I don't know how we're going to beat that. They can... yeah. They're still not quite at Delirium, but... yeah, 1 flying creature also, we're just dead. Okay, go on, give us some... it enters tapped. No, it doesn't need to worry about that. We just discard it. And play Ishkana. There we go. You've got your rares, I've got mine. I think we had to do this turn. And now we can start just trading things. Because they've got a Death Touch blocker, but we've got multiple blockers. So we can start letting some things through, but not others. We just have to hope for no flying creature. Any flying creature and we're in a bit of trouble. Okay, so yep, so they... oh yeah, now they've got Death Touch. Yeah, they didn't have it actually because they didn't have Delirium, but... everything has Death Touch, yeah. That I'm not sure about as a choice. Because now we kill Odric. We trade here. I do think we need to take out the Thraben Inspector, which is awkward, but... or maybe we're just on full-on trade duty overall. Let's block another one of these. Everything that blocks is going to die. So maybe Ishkana has to double block here. Because I don't think we can afford to live. So at the moment we're taking 3, 5. But with everything... hang on, are these blocking the same one? They were, weren't they? So we just pick a different one. Yeah, I think we just have to... pick different things. I think this takes as much off the battlefield as possible. We lose our entire army though. Like, I think we have to try and live. I don't think there's any way of doing this. We can't outvalue the Overworld Mysteries here. I don't think there was a route in which we... oh, in fact, maybe there was a world in which we just block a few less and we try and swing for lethal over a couple of turns. But then again, they're just going to have all these blockers. No, that doesn't work. I think we were out of this no matter what. We needed like a biting rain or something. That would have been good there. And they've got the spider spawning. So without spider spawning here, we lose. There we go, drew a land. That's not a good start. That Overworld Mysteries was incredible value for them. I don't know, maybe it's been a while since I played this. I'm not really sure how to play around things like that anymore, so maybe I need to give it another shot and just try and get a bit more practice in. Okay. Alright, I'll be back in the next game. Okay, we are back. We're on our second game. I've actually made a slight tweak to the list since we last played, because when I looked through it, I really did realise I only had like one artifact and one or two options for one or two sort of artifacts, so we really didn't have many ways of actually getting Delirium, so I swapped out one of the Graph Rats for a Merciless Resolved. This looks like a keep. We've got a turn 3 play with a Courier, we've got a turn 4 with Tracker and Land. I was going to say ideally here we'd draw a Forest so we could play the Vessel, because that gives us a turn 1 Forest, and to this, turn 2 we could activate it. But now we've got, ooh, Foul Orchard. That's a really good thing to draw on the Tireless Tracker turn. So Olivia's Dragoon, I believe that's the Menace one, isn't it? Yeah, so they've got Menace, we've got potential flying. This is all fine by me. To be honest, depending on what they play, it changes whether I play the Courier or the Crow. Because we obviously want Delirium, but the Crow just isn't as impactful as the Courier. The Courier just full on draws us a card. We can't block anyway. So they're red-green, so they're probably werewolves. They're most likely playing bigger things. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, spider spawning. Okay, so I am going to go with the Courier, just because of the synergy with the Tireless Tracker. So if it dies, we've already got a clue. So they could have something here, maybe with Flash, but we've got the ability to give it flying if we need to, but I'd rather not. And we'll just play our Byway Courier out. So this way we've got more power on the battlefield. They can probably Galvanic Blast something, I imagine. Most likely the Courier, but okay, they don't have it, that's good. Or they didn't use it. We kind of want to just chew through their removal first, so the chances are I actually wait and playing the Tireless Tracker. Or actually, it just takes over the game, so maybe I just hope they use removal. They've got some white in there now. I mean, Bloodbriar is a great pickup here. So let's go with the attack. See if they have anything here. It feels like they've got a spell of some sort, so I don't really want to play into that directly. So what I'm going to do is I am going to ignore the value of the Tireless Tracker. I'm going to play the Bloodbriar, and then I'm going to play a land. So now they can kill something. Oh, it's just Pack Guardian. Sure. So we don't have anything to block that, but they didn't discard a land either, so it's just a 4-3. So we're actually, what, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they've got 6, so we're actually ahead in the race most likely. Especially with the spider spawning coming eventually. We wouldn't mind drawing a land here, so we go Tireless Tracker, Land, Vessel. And starting soon we might need to keep Byway Courier back to block the Guardian. Okay, so now they're going for the aggro, so we probably do need to hold back from here. Which is pretty... like, this is aggressive, but like... technically we've got them on a 2-turn clock if we can get enough things to defend with. No point in blocking here. They're just going to go full aggro. They could have Uncaged Fury here, which would nearly kill us. So that's why I think next turn we need to actually be on the defensive. Okay, do we get a land? Okay, we do. Question is, how do we do this? I actually think we don't play the Vessel, because if we play Tireless Tracker and then we play our Forest, we can buff 2 different units at once. And then I think we're just going to attack with... because we need 3 blockers is the problem, so I think we don't attack with anything. Because if they take out 1 blocker here and then have Uncaged Fury, we just die to anything. So we need to play around that, because that's such a powerful spell that we can't really afford to just let that happen. The question is, how do we deal with the Pack Guardian? It might even just be the case that we trade with Tireless Tracker, but we're going to have to, let's crack our clue first to see what the options are. So if they attack here, we're going to crack the Tireless Tracker. Let's crack the clue. And see what we feel like we need to do. Yeah, okay, so we just drew a land. So, I think we're going to go with... There is no way we can block things and leave this to live and kill everything, because we need 2 things to block this. So I think we have to just go for the trade here. And let's put these 2 there. Yeah, I think this works, because this gives us spider spawning a bit more traction as well. We're fine if they lose Tire's Tracker, because we know we've got Midnight Scavengers to potentially bring it back later as well. And at this point, we just want to clear the battlefield a little bit. This is sorcery, yeah. I was going to say, if this is instant, I'd have been so shocked, because I remember Travel Prep being sorcery. It's obviously very likely that they have something here, but we don't mind about that. Ooh, Ride Down, yeah. So, any pump spell for 3? Giant Growth? Or was it Titanic Growth? Would kill me. I wasn't expecting Ride Down, I'll admit that. But this also means something lives here, which is good. Okay, we're down to 3. We could obviously be dead here. We just need to put more things on the battlefield. Okay, our turn. I guess we just play a forest, play the crow, and a vessel. This gives us the option of cracking the vessel or the clue. They don't know this, but we probably want to crack the vessel to put more things in the graveyard for spider spawning. So that was actually nearly a wasted turn for them, so the only thing that they really did was Ride Down. So if we do the same thing here, I think we triple block if anything, because if they have another Ride Down, and given that they're splashing, maybe they do. Oh, it's another whelp. Okay, that's good. That works well into our spawning, especially if they... So now they've tapped out of Ride Down as well, which is great news. Do they attack? They do. So let's crack our vessels, because this doesn't natively have trample. Put another counter on it. Oh, that's fine. I don't care about that. Put one into our hand. It's probably just the biggest thing. It is, because we now have Delirium. Yep. There we go. Kind Stranger is so good here. We can actually just Kindly Stranger and flip it immediately. But we can do it any time, isn't it? Yeah, so we don't even have to do that any other time. We can do that like whenever we want. So I say we attack with a crow. Let's attack with a crow. We can be greedy here. There is a world in which this works. You know, we can just start clearing up whatever we need to. What is their response? It might even be worth it here for us to kill the whelp over the guardian. Okay, creatures without flying can't block. Yep. Pass to attackers. Nope, cancel that. Pass to blockers. We'll just chump this, see what they do. What is their option here? They're going to aim high, so we're going to activate this ability and destroy it. Okay, there we go. So that was a really good series of events for us. We had to chump with our Dragoon and ditch a card, but it's not the worst. Now we can just spider spawning for 1,000,000. And we can just keep attacking now. This is going to be really hard for them to get through. We're going to have a really... Yeah, so that doesn't have haste. So we may need to keep something back just to block it, because we are at 3. So the Demon Possessed Witch is the only thing, but as it stands, they've got 2 blockers, and we're 1 short of lethal here, so we'll crack this first. In fact, if we attack with these 2, they have to block with something. Okay, I mean, either way, we can make it so we have 2 blockers for that. So let's just attack with the crow. Get them down a little bit. Oh, hang on, there's 6 there. We had lethal, didn't we? Oops. I thought we didn't have lethal there. Either way, we've got 2 blockers for this. For some reason, I looked at the number of things I could see, not the number we had. That's pretty awkward. So, yeah, I mean, we will double block in case you've got a trample effect. There's nothing that can convince me to not double block here. There we go. Yeah, I didn't realise we had 6 of those, because they could only block 2 things, which would have been these 2, and then we'd have got enough for lethal. So a little bit of a misplay there, but not the end of the world. We've got 1 of our wins at least. That's a good start. So, the question is, can we carry on? I do like this new version of the list. Like, I say new version. It's not like I really made a huge change. I made 1 small tweak that we didn't use, but at least we hit Delirium by putting one of the cards that we put in the deck into the graveyard. So that it may have been the one we put in. We don't know. There's no way of telling. But if I had like an alternate version, that still reminds me of what's his name? Jason Lee, the guy who played Earl in My Name Is Earl. I mean, this is a very good early drops. Probably just start with Captive and then go into Skinner Constrictor, which for some reason reminds me of the song of Radar Detector. Was it Darwin Dees, I want to say? Not going to try and do a rendition of it, no matter how much it is in my brain. Also, traditional Cryptic Command versus Lightning Bolt here. Love it. I am enjoying going back to an older format of Magic. I've not enjoyed too many of the more recent formats, I will admit that. I've not... Yeah, it's not like I'm going to be playing loads of Magic the Gathering, but I'm definitely sometimes happy to be back to something familiar that I enjoy, so glad to be doing it. Depending on what they play, I'll change what I play accordingly. It could be that I just want to play a Noose Constrictor and block something. Yeah. This is fine. We will just... It's not something I'm particularly worried about, so we'll just play the Captive, play more bodies, and just deal with that in a bit. Because it's only an X1. We've got 2 copies of Deadweight in the deck, so if it came to it, we could even just play one of these and a Deadweight if we draw one. Mono white. So this could be the equipment deck, it could be Strength at Arms with that. I'm really tempted to block, but I think at this point in time it's better to just have the more mana. 17 health is fine for us. We've got a lot of things that work well with this. Okay, Dauntless Cathar. So we are going to need to start just playing things that deal with some of this. And for me, that's probably going to be Noose Constrictor and Obsessive Skinner, putting the counter on the Noose Constrictor. And passing a turn. So this way the Skinner can just trade with the Fox, and we can just ditch a Forest, trade with the Cathar. To block the Cathar, rather. I don't mind ditching multiple cards to try and keep Noose Constrictor alive if we need to. So we'll just block here, block here. Because we've got too many lands in hand anyway, and we've got the Captive. Sure. I will ditch a Forest and try and make you use another card. If you've got another card to spend, that is fine by me. Yep, so 2 Strengths of Arms. So that puts us at 5. So are we willing to ditch 2 more cards to clear this off the board? You know what? With a Forest and a Crow, I don't really care about the resolve at this point in time. We want it in the graveyard. So yeah, let's just ditch 2 more cards and see if we can make them ditch something else. That I don't care about. We'll just trade that with the Crow in a minute or something, and they can just put the 1/1 out. This is a really low resource game, but I think we've got a really grindy game plan, so tap target non-human, that's fine. We're going to have more creatures. I think we just play the zombie here. That's not zombie, the crow. Yep, and just pass the turn. Again, we don't really have any qualms about doing things here. Okay, when a equipped creature transforms, yeah, so they don't have anything that transforms at current. We will absolutely block Noose Constrictor into the Devilthorn Fox if we need to, but it is a reach creature, so we still have a means of dealing with that. We'd rather block with the Crow. Because they can tap something down as well, it's interesting, because they might just take 2 turns to tap both of these down. And just not do anything right now. That's probably what I do. I just spend 2 turns tapping both of these down and then offer the trade. Yeah, that's fine. Are you going to attack? If they attack, I will probably just trade the Dragoon for Devilthorn Fox by activating Noose Constrictor. Yeah, no attacks here. That's great news for us. Okay, because we do want to transform this eventually, I am going to play the land out. Because it takes 7, and we've got 5 so far. But I'm still willing to trade things for this. And we don't want this to transform so things get first strike. Okay, so they're blocking our... tapping down our Crow. We could have played the Dragoon and tried to flip, actually. If they tap down the Constrictor, that's their 2-turn plan. And if I were them, I would have equipped the Heirloom to the Fox. This makes me think I should have played the Dragoon out, actually. So next turn I will probably play that out, depending on what we draw. It gives them a sort of a very slow plan. Have they got any attacks here? I mean, is this a case of someone forgetting that Noose Constrictor has reach? I think it is a case of someone forgetting... No, that is not how that works. Have they got damage a tapped creature? No, they don't. Oh, poor OP. Yeah, equip your Fox. And back to us, and we are now the beatdown. Bloodbriar is a great pickup here. So Bloodbriar incentivized me to just play out 2 creatures. And now we can just start attacking with the Crow, because I don't care which of these I block with. I'll tend anything in front of the Devilthorn Fox right now. None of these matter to me because we don't have anything that synergizes. Yep, so give it +1/+1. So... okay, so they're going for the attack and tap. I'm not sure I agree with that, because I will just block whatever's on the Sigardan Priest. I'll block the Sigardan Priest no matter what. Yeah. So you're just attacking with a 4/4. There is no combination that this works out well for you. I don't understand why you would do this. If you attack with both, I will probably just trade with everything. Yeah, okay, OP had to pass there. So in terms of going to combat, it's not flying. They can just tap our flyer down. They didn't. Interesting. So we'll just attack. And then the turn. We do need to draw something, because this isn't going to help. So anything that puts a instant creature... So, like the Vessel, Terrarium, Deadweight would be great here. Again, so if they attack with that on its own now, they can potentially tap one thing and get through. But then we still can just block. Devilthorn Fox. Terrarium doesn't help them in the long run. Maybe they're splashing, or they just actually have a Delirium trigger. I will still trade for the Devilthorn Fox here with one of these 2 creatures. I'm not worried about that right now. Yeah, so still my turn, which is good. Oh, there you go. Deadweight is perfect for this situation. We could even put it on that and make it so that as soon as they unequip it, it just dies. So let's pop Deadweight here and see what they do. So this does mean that next turn we can play Dusk Feaster. What are you going to do, OP? Yeah, it's kind of awkward because they can't actually afford to tap anything here. Because if they tap this, we just attack with everything. And now, for now, we just attack this. And next turn we can play our Dusk Feaster, which even blocks this, and we keep the clock going. I think we're in a great spot. We've got so many more resources than our opponent. Lands are good because it gets us to this. Creatures are good because it plays on the board. All our spells are good. There's literally nothing we can draw here that I can think of that isn't fairly useful. Okay, what have you got? I don't think there's a Wrath in the format, but maybe there is. Oh, and there's Descend Upon the Sinful. That exists, and they've got enough mana for it, so maybe we just start holding back here. Because Descend Upon the Sinful would be pretty bad to come across right now. Yeah, I think that actually is but they don't have Delirium yet, do they? They've got Instance and Fox. Ah, no, but they got Terrarian going. So they could be pushing for Descend now. Okay, it's another Fox. That's fine. I think what we do is we just hold things back for now and try and get to the point where, yeah, we're still chipping in damage, or we can activate the Captive and then you just play around the Descend. It wouldn't be right for them to put it in their deck anyway because they're an aggressive white deck, but you know, it's entirely possible that they still chose to. If we... Oh, target creature gets +1/+1 turn to turn, sure. So this probably, again, isn't necessarily... I mean, it puts them at 5, so if they tap down this, we'd have to put all 3 things in front and they can kill 2. But I don't know that I really care here, because that just puts them really in trouble on the backswing. I think leaving this to block is more important than anything else. Oh no, because it's Vigilant. Oh no, but it would be tapped, yeah. Okay, back to me. So, we've got a Crow, we've got a Dusk Feaster. I think we're still going on the same plan, but this time we're just going to take out another Devilhorn Fox. I mean, there's Spirit Synergies, but the 3/1's more annoying. So I think we take that out, see if they tap something. I don't think, again, they can't afford to tap something really, because we can just attack with more stuff. If they do, yeah, fine. So we'll just keep attacking with the Crow. And we are just going to try and maintain this board state and just accrue value in hand, because they have to commit more if they want to change this game. They've only got 4, so they're probably passing again. Perfect. So this is just becoming a bit of a... That's a great card to draw. We're going to keep going on this plan and just see how things go. All we really would like is lands here. So we want to hold 1 back for Tireless Tracker, but we want to also activate the Captive. They know there's not really anything they can do. If they block 2 creatures, what's the best they can do? Okay, my turn again. Scavengers is good, it gets us something back, but I don't think we need to. You know what, actually, maybe we do get something back, because if we Scavengers and get back the Obsessive Skinner, we can start putting counters on our flyers. So next turn I think I'm actually going to start making both of these fly per turn. So this is playing into the Descend slightly, but we're going to return Obsessive Skinner, so we've got something for a future turn. And now we've got more and more pressure, so we can probably go for an all-out swing next turn. Although, funny enough, taking a creature out loses us Delirium. Because they can block 2 things. So say they block that and that, they take 2, 4, 6, 7. And we can put a counter on the Crow to make it 8. So they have got to... They've got to develop here. Oh no, this can't attack. It's Defender. So they don't have to quite yet, but they're not far off. In that case, we probably just go for 2 turns of these. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature target player controls and tap an untapped creature control. Oh, so they just wanted counters. Sure. There is no point in attacking here. Yeah. So we'll just play Obsessive Skinner onto the Crow to make things easier. Because the Crow's the one we're going to want to force them to deal with. We can ditch Terrarian. Because we've now got Delirium as well. Next turn, if things happen, we can start pumping these up. They could block enough of these to make it so we don't have lethal, but this can push us through more damage. Yeah. Still not how that works, OP. I know, I'm sorry. And next turn we can just attack with everything. We'll put a counter on the Dragoon, so we've got 2 flying lethal threats, which is going to make it really hard for them to do anything. They basically need Descend Upon the Sinful, and we've even been playing around it by keeping 2 good lethal threats in hand. Yep, that doesn't do it. What's your next option? You need a removal spell or a flyer. Or just, I mean, they need more than that. Much more than that, but... yeah. If they attack, I'm not going to block. I don't think there's anything that does 8 damage out of nowhere in mono white. Anything from OP? Like, we've got more than lethal here. We can hold back some of our better cards. Here we go. Like, I figured that was probably coming. Also, if we found Graph Rats, we get our big 5/6 menace thing. I did have fun. Thank you. Thank you, Magic Arena. I did have fun. Mostly, like, I like this format. I like when we go back to sort of the better, older formats more than the more recent ones. Like, Kaladesh is a fantastic format. Like, I really enjoyed Oath of the Gatewatch. I remember having a ridiculous game of Black-White Life Gain in a mirror match that was just... so you had like an hour round in drafts when we did it. And I genuinely spent the entire hour in game 1 of 3, I think it was. This is good. You've got 2-drop, 3-drop Spider Spawning. And these are medium synergy. If we're first as well, that's even better, because we can just play our tap land and not lose tempo. Noose Constrictor is so powerful. Like, there's some really solid cards that just synergize the Noose Constrictor anyway. That's a very good pickup, especially with Bloodbriar, so that's our turn 4 play sorted. The fact we can go Bloodbriar into Tyler's Tracker land is super powerful. The only thing that's better now is if we draw either our Foul Orchard or a Deadweight, because then we can play the tap land and not lose tempo, or we can play the untap land and then a Deadweight on the Tyler's Tracker turn. So they've gone for the Dragoon, that's fine. The good news about that is that we can leave our Noose Constrictor back and they might not realise it has reach, sorry. So Bloodbriar's in. Another Bloodbriar is also really nice, because if we draw another land, that means we can Tyler's Tracker, activate both, and just Tyler's Tracker, play a land, get a trigger, crack a clue, put 2 counters on Bloodbriar and 1 on Tyler's Tracker. It's really strong. If they come for this attack, we'll probably just ditch Spider Spawning, because it doesn't do anything for a while yet anyway, and eventually we can still get good value out of it. They might have ways of taking out the graveyard, but it's not our sole win con here. To be honest, we probably offer up the trade and see if they do anything about it, because Olivia's Dragoon is very powerful. Okay, nothing, good. Kindly Stranger's nice. So, because we basically get to interact first, we're going to still do the Tyler's Tracker and just play the land. It does mean we're guaranteed our token. They can kill it in response, but we don't really care. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. Tyler's Tracker getting its value. There you go, taking a premium removal spell. Like, we knew that was a possibility, and we have the thing to get it back as well. Oh, no, didn't mean to auto-pass. Oh well. There are things they can play for 2, so let's just no attack here and end the turn. We're not the rush deck. We'd rather make sure we're not losing health. They could play the 4/1 Vampire here, and that's something we'd probably consider trading. We wouldn't mind just drawing a land here. Alchemist Greeting, there we go, so they've got something here as well. Putting it on the Noose... oh, interesting, on Bloodbriar. I mean, it does get out of control. But I don't hate the idea of putting it on Noose Constrictor either, because we can just block Dragoon. Faithless Looting. So what have they got to discard here? Like a Fiery Temper would be ridiculous, because that would be... like, I'm not going to fight 2 cards for a Fiery Temper. And then they could potentially play... oh, I've got another Alchemist Greeting. Okay. So the fact that we've got big things that come later that are going to be tougher than this is pretty good for us. We weren't ditching 3 cards to prevent that when they were only getting in for 2. Land? No, Merciless Resolve. Bloodbright's kind of okay for that. So another one of these is great. Difficult for them to kill. Puts more stuff for spider spawning. Kindly Stranger's going to get closer to activating eventually. But Merciless Resolve puts a land in there and draws us cards, so keeps things going. Is it instant as well? Yeah, so if they're going to kill something, especially with the Madness tricks... Ooh, using the Faithless Looting flashback. That's a pretty slow play for this. Oh. Okay, so they couldn't Madness that anyway because it's triple black. Okay, that's good because they're miles away from that. Get on red source. Perfect. So here I think we are just on the Crow plan. We want to try and get to Delirium. We want to try and get to Spider Spawning, Kindly Stranger, all these things that are going to be our added value. So putting something out that we're happy to trade. Yeah, fine. Mill me 4. If I were them, because that does 3 damage now, doesn't it? Because they've got 2 in there. Yeah, so I'd have been probably taking out the Bloodbriar. Does that just put me... No, not quite on Delirium. We've got Enchantment, Land, Creature. So we need to put... Assembled Alphas... Becomes blocked by a creature. Deal 3 damage to that creature's controller. 3 damage to the creature and 3 damage to the creature's controller. Okay, so we'll play this. We can reveal a land from this. And that can put something else in the graveyard. So I actually think we do this now. So we pump up the Bloodbriar. Try and find a... What's it called? Well, we've got Swamp Forest. We find the forest. That puts something in the graveyard, a artifact. So we've now got Delirium. We can crack our clue, find another land, put this up to 4. So Assembled Alphas is difficult, but if we find another land, we can just Kindly Stranger and kill it. Especially if they tap out here for some reason. Blocks or becomes blocks. So here we're just taking 5. And then what have they got to follow up? Probably nothing. Okay, so we'll crack the clue. They might have another Alchemist Greeting here. It doesn't look like they do, but maybe. No, they don't. Dusk Feaster's good. And there's the land. Perfect. So Kindly Stranger, and we're going to just kill the Alphas immediately. Because they didn't do anything in the end step. Unless they've got something here that kills it. We're just going to kill the Alphas. Take the action, absolutely. And we're going to start attacking Bloodbriar here. So taking 2 on the backswing, if they discard a card, is fine when we've got a 2-turn clock following up from that. And we've got Spider Spawning for 5 coming anyway. Yep, this is all fine. Funnily enough, we're not a world away from even buying this back if you find Midnight Scavengers. Gyreet Sanitarium. So they're going to go for Voldar and Pariah. Which they can sacrifice 3 other creatures. I don't think we even care about that. And isn't everyone sacks 3 creatures? Yeah, so we're going to attack with everything. They can't cast it yet anyway because it's multiple black. So they're just going to take a ton of damage. Assembled Alphas cost 6. They need triple black at least to madness it out. Double black to cast it. And then if they play double black and 3... So they've got 5, 6, 7. So they need to play a land, so they'd have 8. So they only have 3 left, which is unlikely they're going to be able to play 2 more creatures. But I still think here that maybe we just want Spider Spawning. Although the Big Flyer is really valuable. Let's go Big Flyer, because if they kill it, we can go Spider Spawning in a future turn, and our life total is not a threat yet. And we know what their entire hand is. So they can Gyreet Sanitarium, each player draws a card, then discards a card. We'll discard Graph Rats, because we don't care about that. They probably discard the Pariah if they can't cast it. Oh, they discard the Swamp. Okay, so that's even less likely to do it. Yep, so there's the alphas. So we can actually just make Bloodbriar even bigger. So let's put this here. And then what we do is we attack with everything, and we can Merciless Resolve. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, because our plan there was to Merciless Resolve just a land, probably. And then if they block Bloodbriar with that, we can deal with it that way. That can trade with it. There's enough different things we can do to make that happen, and make that work out in our favour. So, bear with me, I'm going to stop that here, and I'll join you back for our, is it third game now? So we've got 3 wins, so 5th game. Wow, that's gone fast. Right, I'll see you back then. Okay, we are back again for what appears to be our 5th game. We've got 3 wins, 1 loss. Doing pretty well so far, so one more is sort of the... oh, I haven't got my light on. There we go. One more is sort of the target of where we're trying to get to. Ooh. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too loud for you guys, but for me, my headphone volume was way up there. I must have nudged it when I took them off previously. Okay, I mean, well, this is already great. We've got Deadweight and a Vessel, so we can play one or the other on turn 1, preferably the Vessel. Oh, we go first, so yes, the Vessel. We can save it for when we need to. We can Deadweight something if they play an early drop. If not, oh, this is a really good start. This is not sorcery speed. Back in the days where things could be instant speed again, because I know that a lot of these abilities now are sorcery. Okay, so we'd like to find a 2-drop here, because Crow or a Forest. I think the Forest is more important, because the Crow can put more things in and we need land drops. Yeah, so... okay, we would have really liked a 2-drop there, mostly because we wanted to play something and then Deadweight that. But what I think we do here is just Forest and Crow, so that next turn we can Tireless Tracker into Deadweight. Is that Delirium now? Yeah, we've got all of our card types in the graveyard. Enchantment, Instant, Creature, Artifact, Land. So hopefully they don't play a buff spell here. That's the big thing we need to worry about. Wiltfield Scarecrow is perfect. It's not reach. If I were them, I would not be attacking. Yeah, okay. So now we just get the super value. Play Tireless Tracker, play a Swamp, get Deadweight going, onto Duskwatch Recruiter, and attack for 2. That turn is mad. That feels really efficient, and now we can start growing the tracker so it can attack through the Scarecrow. Hopefully they don't have something here that kills it. But in 2 turns we can activate Kindly Stranger anyway, in the same turn we play it. So I'm gonna... yeah, I've only got 1 creature in the graveyard. I'm gonna activate this first. Honestly, given that they've left that much up, I'm probably not going to play it in case they have the Pack Hunter. I'm probably not going to attack, sorry, is what I meant. I will attack with a Crow. Or like aim high or something like that. Play another land, get another clue. We can just draw more clues here. I'm just going to attack with our Crow. We don't want to fall into any traps. And if they don't attack here, then they're just wasting resources. So this can be an end of turn attack from them. Or they're just popping the Scarecrow. Yeah, so the fact that they could do that anyway no matter what, and potentially avoid any risk. Like, I hadn't even thought about it at the time, but this is what I would have thought years ago. Given that I could attack in, they could block, sacrifice, get value out of it, and we never get anything out of that if they choose to do so. It means it makes me even less likely to want to play into a trap of some sort. You know, like an instant... ooh, a Swamp. So they can be going for something a little bit more dangerous here. Because basically a Swamp gives them access to black removal, which is more likely to affect the Tireless Tracker. But we kind of just want them to play a big creature, draw another card, and kill it with a Kindly Stranger. Exile it and we lose life. If only we had our thing available. Yep. They can lose 3, that's fine. So that's probably what they're splashing for. Anything else? Okay, we're just going to crack this. Draw more threats. Hopefully we don't have to play the Kindly Stranger yet. We'd like to draw another threat of some sort. Honestly, I think we do actually just play the Captive, because the following turn we'll be able to flip it. Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. And we can save our kindly stranger, so we either are going to be attacking for more, or we're going to be killing their thing. Yeah, we don't care about that. So at this point it's 7 to flip, we've got 7. So we just attack with both and see what they do. We just don't want to overcommit here. Oh no, we can't attack both. Oops. We'll just save this to the end step and do it then. We got Gideon's Reproach. Oh yeah, there we go. Destroy it with power 3 or less, that's fine. Give us a couple of cards. Okay. I mean, we're up to 4 on Spider Spawning, which isn't too bad, but here we're just going to pass and flip the captive. We should have done that first so we can attack, but doesn't hurt to be safe. Also, because that way if they've got something else that's like power 3 or less or whatever, or deal 4 damage, we can activate in response. What have they got now? Exile target creature opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Okay. Yeah, it's just any creature. Okay, so we get that back, which is fun. We can just get that back with Kindly Stranger. So essentially we get like sort of like a 2 for 1, almost like a 3 for 1 because we get 1 back. But yeah, I think that's what we do here, is just Kindly Stranger, activate the ability, and kill that. And get back our little guy. And that's a pretty good turn. Get this. I mean, they did draw a card. Like, it's not fantastic. They could have bigger things here that we can't deal with, but ooh, playing at sorcery speed. Do they have a land to discard? They do. Interesting. Okay, so this makes it a 4/6, so we can just. Okay, we're not quite safe yet. Luckily, the witch can attack. Oh, just double travel prep, sure. So we've got 4, 8, 9, 10. And this is 7, so I think we just play the crow. How many cards we got left? 13. Honestly, I think we're just spider spawning here. Go wide. Let's attack with the witch, because then maybe if we get the scavengers, we can potentially bring it back. And if they block with a Pack Guardian, we can just deadweight it and get more spider spawning. I'm fine if they want to block with either of these, to be honest. We will trade our deadweight for it. Yeah. Whichever you want, Lamps. There we go. End the turn. Okay. That's fine. If they want to attack, that's also good for us. We don't really care. Killing this is decent for them, if that's what they choose to do. But we have got enough to flip it, attack with loads of things, and potentially deadweight as well, which is really useful here. So we're just going to go for like the mass attacks, I think. So we've got 9 here. So let's transform, play a land, and let's just attack with everything. And if they choose to block here, we can always deadweight. And if they don't, we get through for loads of damage and probably kill them. Yeah, we've got them down to pretty much lethal next turn. We'll kill the Pack Guardian. And now they need to be able to block, what, 7, so 5 creatures? Unless they've got their own spider spawning, we're in a great spot. And even then, that makes them 1, 2... Yeah. Great. Thank you, Lamps, for being a good opponent. We've got a huge spider spawning coming after that as well. You can see after the last couple of drafts, we are flying through the ranks here. Okay, let's see what we can work on to next. Ooh, waiting for a server, that's what we're working on. We completed some sort of quests that I didn't look at what they were. So this is the one. Now we're up to. This is like our ideal target. So anything past this is just gravy. So 3 more potential wins. Let's jump in, see what we get. Ooh, I've not seen this artwork. Or not. I've not paid attention to this artwork, I should say. That's quite cool. Very Elish Norn. I love Ashiok. That is Ashiok, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, this is fine. We've got a couple of things that help us get to Delirium, a couple of Delirium triggers. Slightly frustrating we don't have a forest to play turn 1 Terrarium, but it'll do. We can play that on turn 3 most likely. So here I think we want to play Noose Constrictor, because it's something that we can use to help survive. We can also just ditch things to that. Scourge Wolf. Okay. So the big question here is how do you want to go about this? I think we are just going to play Terrarium because we get the card value out of it. Play the Obsessive Skinner onto the Noose Constrictor. And start attacking. So they're going to have to churn through a lot of things before this gets double strike. So I think we're in a good spot on the race, especially considering we can just ditch as much as we want, and we've already got enough to cast Ishkana. Yeah, don't care about this. We just don't want them to kill the Noose Constrictor immediately. If they go for... Sure. That's very entertaining. Okay, so... what can we do about this? We want to hit Delirium, so let's just crack this for... Let's just pay 2 and crack this for double green. See what else we can find. We've played a land already, unfortunately, so... I almost feel like we want to wait, but playing just a 3-3 out might be good enough. But it gets us a Tireless Tracker back. I'm just going to play Ishkana. And it's not ideal, but... it's just a 3-5 that we can play, you know, ahead of curve. Mad Prophet, that's good for them. Okay, Kindly Stranger gives us something eventually. For now... I guess we just attack with Ishkana. See what they do. They can't kill it, so... they can get all their discard things going with Mad Prophet, which is always good in this format. But now we're definitely on the Tireless Tracker Swamp plan. And we're also going to crack it now for the... for this, because there's a chance we could draw a Deadweight, which really does sort of help out here, and it also means that we don't die to Galvanic Bombardment, I think it's called, if we get it up to 3 immediately. So they're churning away. Just a swamp, but again, if this dies, we've got Midnight Scavengers to get it back, unless we lose it to something quite weird. Okay, so this is going well. We're still only 1 on Delirium, but we do have... okay, yeah, we can Stitch Ring. So... again, I think we just activate this now. We just want to find things. Just get as much value out of this as we can. Like a... no, nothing yet. I think Kindly Strange is probably the play. Or is it... how much mana have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can't activate this yet. Attacking for 5 means we not kill 2 things, we only kill 1. Let's just play this Kindly Stranger, force them to deal with another potential threat. And then the following turn we're just going to play Dusk Feaster and start attacking in the air. So no attacks this turn. We just need to churn our way towards Delirium, basically. So finding a... what's it called? The one where you sack something, like a land, creature, artifact, and draw 2 cards would be perfect. We can sacrifice our Noose Constrictor, because it's the least useful thing we've got. If they attack with this, we'll absolutely just consider blocking, but... we really just want to get to Delirium, basically. So blocking with this is fine in case it just puts us closer. We just want to... okay, yeah, when you sack a clue, transform it. Is that one can't be blocked? Oh, and investigate, yeah. Okay, so that was a risk of doing what we did. We knew that was possible, but not too upset by it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. So we can just keep playing lands, keep getting more value out of the Tireless Tracker, and hopefully when it eventually does die, we can just get it back with Midnight Scavengers. But for now, just keep going on applying more pressure. And this means we can actually start attacking. So they can again pick through their deck. They've probably got close to Delirium now. They've got 3, so this is going to be double strike by the time it's relevant. Okay, Stormcloak Cultist. This is the... It does combat damage to player. Exile top card of your library. Okay, yeah, so it basically just draws a card. In a roundabout way. And we do Deadweight, which is great. So, what do we want to Deadweight? It's probably just the Mad Prophet, to be honest. Because we can attack with this. So we can put this up to 6 toughness. So, and they can discard something at instant speed. So I actually think now is the time to attack with both of these. And see what our opponent does. We can make this up to 7. So we can potentially kill 2 things with the Tiles Tracker and draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's fine. And then here we're just going to Deadweight the Mad Prophet. And pass the turn. We want to save this activation for when we really need it. Ishkana's still here. We can block this if we really need to. So we're going to crack 1 clue first and see if they react to it. But we're going to let it fully resolve before cracking the other one in case they have Alchemist Greeting. Okay, now we can just do this. Draw another card. Perfect. If they don't have removal now or a bounce spell, we get another card out of it next turn with another Investigate. Okay, so make sure we get that value first. And at this point, let's play the Bloodbriar and attack with everything. Or maybe just these 3. Ishkana doesn't do much here, but if they don't block the other 2, then they're going to die. Oh, Elder Deep Fiend. Awesome. Yeah, that works. You can tap 4 things. So they've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 damage potentially. So we're going to go no attacks there. Nothing's in the graveyard, so we're just going to buy away Courier. Crack our clue. See if we draw another 2-drop. Not quite, but we've at least got 2 blockers here as well if we need it, and we're putting a load of pressure on our opponent. There we go, nice. Beating Elder Deep Fiend feels good because that card is ridiculous. This puts us to gold 3, is it? Okay. We are really pushing through this and getting through like really good results so far. I'm really happy to beat Elder Deep Fiend. That wasn't something I was considering. Yotian Frontliner. Whenever it attacks target creature you control gets +1/+1 on Earth. I think I played that one of the formats briefly, but anyway, we're to the point of being profitable. Only 2 more games left if we're successful. 3 if we lose 1, and possibly just 2 if we lose everything. 3 is the most games left we could have, basically. I don't like this, but it's fine. We just want a black source. If we draw a black source early on, we're good. If we draw any land, we're okay. This might be one where you have to just... Okay, that's great. Because that just means we can go Tireless Tracker next turn into land, which is pretty much the dream start for this list anyway. Flying can only... What creatures are flying? Yeah. That's also very good to draw here. Get our extra land drop. Now we're really hoping for another land here, because we'd like to be able to play Bloodbriar and crack the clue. But let's see what we get here. This could be like Invocation of St. Traft or something. Yeah. And what's their follow-up? Oh, we did get it. Perfect. So there are things that kill creatures. I think Gideon's Reproach is one of them, but at this point I think I'm just willing to attack and see what happens. Oh, they can just tap something. That's fine. So given that they're going spirits, I think I'm actually going to play... I want to play Olivia's Dragoon and the Crow, but I can't. So I play probably... Let's just play the Crow for now, and then crack a clue. There we go. And you can get a bit of value out of it this way. So now we have... Is this one another spirit, isn't it? Yeah. So we're going to have to basically just get really aggressive really quickly, but luckily Tyler's Tracker really helps with that, being able to just churn out damage. 3 white, so they're saving a blue for something. Ooh, Bygone Bishop. Okay. So this is going to tap the Crow, yeah. So they are on the aggro plan. We're absolutely going to have to just try and tempo this out somehow. What's going on here? I'll find other ways to block, so crack a clue. Because I don't think we can stop and try and slow this down. I think we have to be the aggressive ones. Is this one that's got select for inspection? No, that was Kaladesh. Kaladesh had select for inspection. Get more value. So here we can play Olivia's Dragoon. Or we can just play... I'm going to go Bloodbright. I want to go aggressive here. Like, I just want to keep applying pressure as much as we can, and Tyler's Tracker I think is the way to do so. Like, we can technically play Olivia's Dragoon if we want to, but what have they got here? Oh, is this the flicker thing to tap something down? Yeah, it is. Okay, so this taps 2 things down. So depending on what they tap here... Yeah, obviously the Tracker. Okay, so I'm going to go with no attacks here. And I think... I don't know if we want more things, because, I mean, if we draw dead weights, we just start winning the game. So I think we do just wait to try and get more dead weights and force them to try and tap this down, so they need to play another spirit. It's not ideal. This isn't the perfect situation. Like, we've barely... Well, we haven't hit them, and they've hit us for a bunch, but I think we can still win this overall. Okay, so they haven't got Delirium, but they are going to investigate, because they've only got 1. Yeah, 1 card in the graveyard. Oh, it says 1 here, yeah. So this taps down the Crow. So if they tap this, we're just going to crack that in response. Put some counters around and start getting beefy. This is a really good spirits deck from our opponent, but we do need to find ways of interacting or just racing. Because at the moment we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're dead in the air next turn, so we need to try and keep multiple things. There we go, dead weight. So, I think we crack Terrarian for double black here. Pump up this. We pop one of these onto Nebelgast Herald. Please don't have a counter, that's all I ask. Because the Herald is the most damage, but it's also one of the tap effects. Then we can play Olivia's Dragoon with one of the other bits of mana. And probably just Obsessive Skinner onto the Dragoon or Crow. They could have a counter for this. Again, I'm going to put it on the Crow just to make them go for that, and we're going to start attacking with our bigger things. So if they take this, this is 9, and it puts us in a fairly reasonable spot. It's just whether or not we can stop them scoring. They've got to be able to take out 2 things at instant speed. Okay, they didn't crack the clue. That's good for us. Well, not the instant speed, but 2 things now. So Topplgeist doesn't do anything. And we can potentially give 2 things flying and block both the Bishop and probably Topplgeist here. Is this tap a creature, or is it just... It just doesn't untap. So maybe if they click the Crow and don't realise... Okay, no, they do realise how it works. So that's good for them. At least they haven't made a huge mistake. honestly, at this point, I think I just ditch the Byway Courier to block that. Okay, now I'm just going to block both of these, so we will ditch the Byway Courier. Attempt to block. They may tap things down here, but we will absolutely go for the potential here to take out 2 of their key units, and regardless of what happens here, we mill a few things, so if we find spider spawning, we're in a great spot. That's fine. We don't want spider spawning in the yard is the problem. Merciless Resolve. So what can we find here? How much? We've got 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can play 5 and get a 2-drop back. But then the 2-drop we get back can't be anything that goes anywhere. So they've got 3 in the air. We can attack with Bloodbriar, get our 4 damage in. Play our scavengers, and I think we get back the crow, most importantly, but we're not going to play it this turn because we want to save things for next turn. However, here we just want to put a counter on. Probably we want to keep the 1-2 around, so maybe just Obsessive Skinner, because this is going to exile, isn't it, when you meld? So we want to put it on something that actually can stay on the battlefield. They're lacking in mana severely, so they're probably on chump duty next turn in a fairly reasonable avenue, because if we draw 1 more land, we can also flip the captive, and then they're in real trouble. I don't know if they can attack. Oh, Faith Unbroken is really good here. So that puts them at 5 in the air, but that's all of their mana. And it takes out Tyler's Tracker, but not the Bloodbriar. Okay. Again, I don't know if they can attack. Oh, they're going for the 2-turn clock. Okay. They're not at Delirium yet, so sure. If we draw like our Witch or something, if we had that active, I think we should do. Enchantment creature, artifact land, yeah. Our Witch should be good here. No. So let's draw a card. Hang on, did we just miss lethal? If they blocked these... No, we didn't. So we'll play the crow. Oh, 1 turn out. I think we just attack with these 2 because these are going to be lethal and they have to at least lose 1 creature here. We basically just need to find a way of living 1 more turn. Yeah, they have to chump block something. Yeah, we should put a counter on our... I mean, I guess our crow? It's the only thing that flies. It doesn't really matter, because if they remove this, we lose. Like, that's the hands... Yeah, the hands are the ins and outs of it. If they remove the crow, we lose. If they got, like, Declaration in Stone, that works. We're so close, because Spider Spawning seals us up, but also they're just dead next turn. Yep, Spider Spawning is going to be... Like, because it's not loads, but it's 2 blockers. Yeah, it's 2 turns that they can't do anything about this. So, look, given that they're taking time, I feel like either they've got an answer that they can't quite figure out, or they're just going to have to sack clues and try and dig. So I'm hoping that it's going to be the latter, because 2 mana is so much harder to win with than 4. This is a tense one. You can tell our opponent's thinking. Okay, if that's their attack, we will block with the crow. And that gives us potentially 3, if not more, Spider Spawnings next turn. And more threats. Ishkana. That would have been a good draw. Ishkana into Spirits. Fogwalker, so that keeps something tapped. Yeah. So now they can block 2 things. So we don't actually have lethal here. But I do think we have to play the Spider Spawning now. So What can we do? We can attack with 3 things. It's not going to be enough, so yeah, this and spider spawning is our only real option here, but it gives us a load of chump blockers and we can just attack with the scavengers. So just get that in there. And then we probably just put another counter on the Skinner itself. Yeah. Topplegeist being the one they pick is great for us as well. Because if they're blocking with Topplegeist, that means they're never going to get those triggers. And that's going to be one of the ways that we could potentially lose this. So, more great choices for us. I guess this is going to go, again, on the Skinner, because this is going to transform anyway. We just want to diversify our threats. These are going to be chump blocking. You make them need to send up on the Sinful to get anywhere. And then we've got a Dusk Feaster. I don't think there's anything that gives them trample in this, so we'll just chump block here. They shouldn't be trample in white-blue anyway. Spectral Shepherd, yeah. Okay, so they're pretty dead here. But let's just find out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures. They can only block 2, so how many can they tap down? Have they got like tap 4 creatures or something? We'll attack with all of these and see what they do. And even then, we've actually got enough blockers to block 2 of these anyway. Yeah. So they can bounce things. At the moment they're taking 6. Is this going to be one of the situations where if we'd flipped this we'd have won? They might have like a bounce spell. Okay, we'll go to damage. We're fine with going to damage here. Bounce spell. -4, -0, that works. So maybe I've just a little greedy. We've given them an out. We'll play the land. Do you know what actually does work here is if we Merciless Resolve and just sacrifice, say, a forest, we could draw one of our other deadweights. Oh, that would have worked. Oh, Noose Constrictor. There we go, perfect. We've got another blocker. We're a little bit lucky there, but we'll put this on the Constrictor. Now they need to send upon the Sinful, and we've got another lethal threat to follow up, and we'd also get back our Tireless Tracker. Okay, I feel good now. There's very little chance of them coming back from this moment. We've got 4 mana. I don't think there's just a standard Wrath of God. Yeah, okay, we've won. Unless they've got tap 2 creatures, actually that could exist. Nope. Whew. I was getting concerned then for a minute. So we're nearly halfway through Gold 3. And on to what is potentially the last game. Which would be great if it was. I'd love to just finish us off with like a 7-win. One last one to go. Let's see if this is a good one. So, all in all, you can tell that this has gone really well. The change I made to make Delirium a little bit easier to get has worked out, because I think it's noticeable how much easier it is to get Delirium in these remaining games than the first one, because that first one felt difficult. It really didn't feel like we were going to get there. And I think not taking out the Crows was a good idea as well, because those being able to put, 2 cards each twice, it's 12 cards that goes in our graveyard that we wouldn't necessarily have otherwise, so it really does fuel that Delirium. I do wish we got one of the regrowth cards of some sort. PT Bladers. I mean, this is a perfectly fine curve. We've got removal 2-drop. If opponent goes first and they play a 1-drop, we're in a really, really good spot here. Unless it's a Thraben Inspector, in which case we lose out on value. Play a 1-drop. That is good for us. I don't mind failing the deadweight just in exchange for them not being able to madness something. They can use it to rummage if they want, but this is absolutely fine. Yes, they've ditched a land. Okay, a Bloodseeker. So we're going to follow that up with the Graph Rats. It's not good into this, but it's not too bad either. We could also put a deadweight onto this, which just means it never triggers. No blocks. You can push us for 3 if you want. They're going to pump out something that we probably end up... Geesa's bidding. Oh, okay, 2 2/2s. Yeah, well, Bloodbrier's good into that. And we've got 2 of them. There we go. Drawing lands is great. I don't know if I even want to sacrifice the graph rats. I'm just happy with this. I think they're going to be like struggling on tempo now because we've got good tempo. They have bad tempo. Pyre Hound is great though. Yeah, we'll just let through 1 and or 3. Sure. So play our next forest. Play Bloodbriar out again. Here it's going to have to be deadweight on the Pyre Hound because it just gets out of control otherwise. Like, I don't see how we're actually going to beat this if it keeps ticking. If they draw like a bunch of card draw spells, like if this is a Tormenting Voice in hand, we're in a difficult spot. I'm honestly thinking we just block with one of these, make them do it. They probably have a discard. It was another Geese's Bidding, but that's fine. It triggers all of these, but they were going to be able to cast it anyway. And this way we stop just taking 3 damage for free. Like, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. And we need things in the graveyard for spider spawning eventually anyway. What would be good to draw here would be Tireless Tracker, would be the perfect draw. I don't know what else they could be thinking of there. Dusk Feaster, that's fine. We'll just pass the turn. We need something to get us some clues, so like a... Oh, that's really awkward. Yeah, Tireless Tracker would have been incredible there. So here we're just going to have to block one of these. We're actually going to lose to the beatdown, it looks like, very, very quickly. We'll make 2 spiders. It's the only thing we can do. And just hope they don't have any removal spells. Tormenting Voice is going to... This is why, even with this Pyre Hound is going to get out of control so fast. Yep, I think we're just dead, actually. Yeah, no blocks. Well done to PT Blazers. That was a really good like aggro start, even through our really defensive units. So I do still think that blocking with the Bloodbriar was potentially correct. I'm not sure it was. Maybe it'd be better to keep them as 2/3s to block those, but then we're still taking 3 every turn, and that does get out of control fast. So now we're on to one more game, the very last try. Are we going to get the 7 wins or are we down to 6? This is actually like a little nail-biter dramatic finish for this. FTP Lewis. Don't know what that... or Luis, rather. Don't know what FTP is, but sure. Again, good hand. This could be very good for us. Okay, we'll just play Swamp and pass. They play... Okay. Well, there's nothing for us to do here, so Foul Orchard is great. Kind of want them to just play an X2. Like that. We will absolutely deal with that. For now, however, I'm just going to play the Crow. Oh, okay, I do have a Swamp. Good. Because I want to be able to Tireless Tracker for that. So if they remove this, that's fine. We can Tireless Tracker and then Deadweight this, is what we want to do. They revealed another mountain, so... I think, yeah, we do just block this. Let them play a spell if they want to. Like, Rush of Adrenaline would have been good for them there. But we just want to keep milling cards. What are we on now, card types? Instant, creature, land. Okay, so... even though it's Geese's Bidding and it's not that impressive, I think we just want to slow things down a little, not lose tempo, basically. Like, I know we're only trading for half a card, but I feel like we might need all of our mana next turn. So I want to make sure we're not wasting it. Please no Fiery Temper, that's all I ask. Or Alchemist Greeting, or... If this lives, we're in such a good spot. There's like loads of things in the format that kill it, especially in red-black. Yeah, there's Alchemist Greeting. There's no world in which you don't kill the Tireless Tracker, which is why I'm glad I did actually kill this, because we're going to need all of our mana next turn to do useful things. Okay, we can kill the Neonate, which is nice. Oh, Bloodbriar's good here as well, so... I am going to take the tempo hit this time, and play Bloodbriar out, and just deadweight the Neonate, because we don't want to give them free... basically free discard outlets. We want them to have to pay for it. So making them pay for things is going to be useful for us. You know, we want them to be taxed as much as possible. If they want to Incendiary Flow this, go ahead. Yeah, Lightning Axe. So they do get to cast it. Just, again, unfortunate, but we're making them pay things. Okay, so here we're going to crack the clue. See what we find. Noose Constrictor's not bad. The question is it good enough? think so, because we've got enough lands to just Merciless Resolve next turn, so we probably just want to use this forest to trade. So basically we're trading the forest for the zombie, keep the constrictor potentially. If they attack with the vampire, we're just going to trade. Okay, here we will discard a card here just to keep the creature around. We'll just use that forest as a +1/+1 till end of turn, basically. As in, like, as if it was a spell that did that. They can kill this if they want. Okay, Faithless Looting's good for us, especially flashback, because there's not going to be much they can cast out of this. They're probably... Okay, they're not looking for lands, they're looking for spells. Another Neonate. 3 Neonates so far. Okay. So let's sack a swamp. Sacrifice creature on land, yeah, and draw 2 cards. There we go, that's a great draw. Byway Courier is really good into this sort of thing, because it's just going to trade with a weirded vampire and draw us a card at some point as well, so works out well. Obsessive Skinner obviously gets more value over time, but this works out well for the meantime. Yeah, we will absolutely trade that with the Byway Courier. Again, ours gets value, theirs doesn't, and they essentially cost the same. And what's their follow-up? Bloodhall Priest, okay. Enters a bit on field or attacks if you have no cards in hand. Okay, so they do have cards in hand. So, ooh. Well, there we go then. That's that decision made. Ishkana is going to be brutal for them to try and get through. Because we can just multi-block easily now. We can put the Skinner out and start putting counters on the Noose Constrictor. Draw more cards. Dusk Feaster, yep. So this is a good thing to put a Noose Constrictor. Sorry, to put counter on Noose Constrictor for. So we can draw this, because it might be that we just need to ditch 2 cards to make Noose Constrictor deal with that, but potentially not. We still need to draw a card either way, because obviously we can put the Skinner counter on it again. But so we can't play the Crow, is what I'm trying to get at. Unless we draw a land here. We can't... We didn't draw a land, but... Maybe we just want to ditch the Crow anyway. Because this is the beginning of their turn, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to play the Terrarian just to cycle it and draw a card in a bit, and we'll just ditch the Crow for this. We've got more than enough blockers here. And if we use a... So this goes on the Constrictor. We've just got more than big enough things to block everywhere we need to. Multiple reach. Okay. Yep, they're just churning through the deck. I don't think they've got a chance of winning anymore. I think they're... Yeah, Neonate, not good into this. Bloodhall Priest can't do much apart from kill the Skinner. Yeah, so that's their 4th Neonate and they had to use it to discard. Yeah, this is all fine. Are you going to go with the Bloodhall Priest? And that, okay. So you're just going to deal with that. And then you're going to give me 3 blocks here. I mean, this doesn't seem great at all. We're going to discard Crow. And now we've just got everything left that we want. Sure, so let's crack this for double. Let's just crack it for 1 of each. Green, black. See what we draw. A land, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to activate that now. Attack with the Noose Constrictor. In fact, might as well attack with Ishkana as well. We can block the Neonate fairly safely, and we might as well just churn the damage out as quickly as we can. There we go. I feel very confident from this point. We're going to be able to hit them for 3 and then attack them with loads of stuff. It's probably just Neonate attacking here if I were them. Yeah, nothing. So think we go to the same plan, attack both again, and just leave these two back. And potentially just drain 3 more. Because they have to block one of these or they just lose. If they don't block... Oh yeah, they should really block both. Because this just could bring something back anyway. I think we've got this probably. Unless they've got a really good, really good thing to discard to the Neonate. And it's very unlikely that something that can deal with both of these, especially if this can go to a 6/6. It's almost like they want to do it now, and I'm not sure why they're waiting. I think they're trying to figure out what they block with, even though they're not at the block stage yet. Or maybe how they can get 10 damage back into us. There's probably ways you can do it, but I want to try and have 3 blockers back, so I'm probably not using this ability. Like, unless this gives us lethal, there's no point in using it. Yeah. And then we just play the Crow and take it easy on that front. So we can do 6. Ooh, what have they got? +3/+0 and first strike until end of turn, and that's their last card. Sure, I kind of just want to use this now. Because now it's even less likely that they're going to be able to kill us from here. Yep, just pass this. I don't see... Oh, there's obviously outs. That was a good one, but... Yeah, Martin. That's a good draw. 5, 6, 7. Oh, the one thing that makes us want to have played the Foul Orchard last turn to play both of these. So we just attack with this. Yep, they're going to have to block and do their little trick. Oh, they're trying not to churn. They're waiting for a Madness card for additional value there. Play the Dusk Feaster. We'll leave this in case we need to ditch anything against like a Galvanic Bombardment or whatever. Let's see what they do. Okay. Yeah, I know I've said this a couple of times, but it's so unlikely that they have things. Ooh, this could do it. Go on, give us a couple of good discards. Like, Alchemist Greeting doesn't do that. Alchemist Greeting Fiery Temper kills one of these. They can block this. They could kill the Dusk Feaster. Ooh, is that double? Oh, it's Stentia Masquerade. Was that 2 Stentia Masquerades? Was it actually 2 of them? Yep. It was 2. 2 Stentia Masquerades. That's not going to do the job. I don't think you want to attack here, friend. Yeah, there we go. Well, GG to FTP Lewis. And also, really happy with how that turned out. Getting another... Well, our first recorded YouTube 7-win game there. So, really, really happy with that. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that too. We'll have a look at the prize packs in just a second. And then we can call it a day from there. Necrosquito. It's one of these oil cards. Claim the prizes. 6 boosters. Okay, so packs. See what we get. Hopefully we get some nice wild cards. Ooh, okay. We're just going to open these ones. We'll save the others for another video because I've not got too much time. Permeating Mass. That was always a fun one. Just try and create the entire board state of everything being a Permeating Mass. Thing in the Ice. Now that was a fun standard deck. What was favourable? Thing in the Ice, and was it Fevered Visions? Collective Defiance. That was one of my favourites in my Locust God EDH deck. Okay. Traverse Evenwald. Fantastic card. 2 more to go, and then we're going to call this a day. Tyler's Tracker, as if to celebrate the games we've just played. And last of all, Stitcher's Craft Rubbish. Okay, well there we go. If you've enjoyed that, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on the Patreon down below. Join us for another video, and most importantly, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.